Johnson, the overall leader by a substantial margin, now ready for her final rotation on the balance beam, is on the right. Her mother, Kathy Johnson, up from Altamont Springs, Florida, looking on at the brilliant performance of her daughter on rotation after rotation.
The amazing thing about Brandy is, to the best of my knowledge, she has not missed a routine since the Olympic Games.
This is her opportunity to become national champion in the U.S. for the first time.
She's really been running the table, winning 4 of the 5 big meets she's been in this year, 2 of them international.
It was a nice move early on. She did what's called a diameter. It's a Valdez with a full turn. Two back handsprings, layout, step out, solid as a rock. Watching her progress from a talented gymnast to a world-class gymnast. Tuck. Gainer layout, step out, right into a jump. That would have been her Gym Acro series if there wasn't too much of a pause between the two. Round off double back and a one-step on the landing. A good routine, a great ending to a fantastic competition for her.
Congratulated by coaches Kevin and Rita Brown and by teammates as Brandy Johnson has locked it up. The new all-around champion of the U.S. Gymnastics Championships.
This is her first major pass, 2 back handsprings to a layout step out. Look how she attacks that landing. And her dismount, a high tuck double back, way up in the air.
Mom Kathy's pleased again, and with good reason. And so is Coach Kevin Brown.
It's tough being the coach.
Coach is almost up on that beam. And it's official. A score of 9.65 on the balance beam means that Brandy Johnson is the new national all-around champion.
A terrific job, and I'm sure it's the largest victory margin ever at the national championships.
And this certainly has to give her a lot of confidence going into the World Championships later on this fall.
The final numbers are in the all-around at the U.S. Gymnastics Championships. 3 16-year-olds go 1, 2, 3. Brandy Johnson, Christy Henrich, and Sandy Woolsey, and Jenny Esterall of 14 finishes 4th. In the men's all-around, 18-year-old Tim Ryan from Stanford edged out Lance Ringnauld, who's also 18, with Michael Racanelli finishing 3rd. Conrad Vorsanger, the 4th place finisher. We'll be back to talk with Brandy Johnson after this. There's the new champion of American gymnastics, Brandy Johnson. Bart's with her now.
Well, Brandy Johnson, congratulations on your first senior elite national title. I think perhaps one of many titles that you're going to win in the future. You were such a pleasure to watch when you're out there performing on every piece of equipment. Is this something really, you seem like you're having such a good time.
I am. Out there, it's just a blast. The more fun I have, I think the more fun the audience will have.
Now, do you train that kind of presentation? Can you work that in the gym, or is that just your personality that oozes out?
Some of it we work in the gym with focus and everything, but most of it's personality, I guess.
Now, looking ahead to the future, you're currently dominating the U.S. scene as it stands. Looking ahead for the next few years, I hear we haven't seen all that Brandy Johnson can do in terms of big tricks.
Not yet. I haven't had much time to train, so new tricks. But I have a few tricks that I've been saving, like a full in, full out on floor, and a few big tricks on vault.
Well, best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
The old order giveth way, and a new generation of gymnasts was established here at the National Championships. Brandy Johnson was terrific, the new national women's champion she was expected to be. but there's a lot more, Kathy, to be optimistic about.
There certainly is. There were several impressive performances here. Shelley Stack fighting back from 14th all the way to 7th place. And Christy Henrich and Sandy Woolsey maintaining their form and maintaining their positions of 2nd and 3rd. The most outstanding newcomer, though, is Jenny Esther, who came on strong, particularly on uneven bars, where I feel she could really stand a chance to winning a medal at World Championships on that event. And then, of course, the highlight of the meet, Brandy Johnson. Her performance speaks for itself, and the U.S. can really look for good things, hopefully at the World Championships from her.
Well, the top 3 finishers were 16. The 4th place finisher, Jenny Esther, was only 14. Now for Kathy Johnson and Bart Connor, this is Don Crickey. Glad you could be with us at the 1989 U.S. Gymnastics Championships.
Has been NBC's Sports World, and today it was...
As a 15-year-old gained worldwide acclaim in gymnastics at the Seoul Olympics. Her 10th place finish in the all-around competition served notice a new star was rising. Since Seoul, Brandy Johnson's star has rocketed. The European press recently rated her one of the 3 best gymnasts in the world. She was America's best by far in the all-around competition at the U.S. Championships recently, as her mother and coach looked on.
A great ending to a fantastic competition for her.
That was 2 weeks ago. Today, you'll see Brandy Johnson, now 16 years old, attempt to win championships in her 4 event finals. Full teenager from Philadelphia, Tim Ryan, was a surprise winner in the men's all-around. This 18-year-old from Stanford, an up-and-comer in men's gymnastics, can seal the title with an impressive performance on the high bar, and he's having one.
It's going to come down to this dismount.
And it's an excellent one. And I think we've crowned a new champion. Today, Tim Ryan tries to extend his newfound success in the 6 individual event finals as NBC Sports presents the U.S. Gymnastics Championships.
The following NBC Sports program is pre-recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Crickey, and welcome back to the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota, where America's best in gymnastics are gathered for our national championships. If you were with us a couple of weeks ago on NBC Sports World, you saw two teenagers, Tim Ryan and Brandy Johnson, win the all-around titles. Today we're going to be looking at the spectacular individual event finals. I'm joined by a former U.S. Olympian, Kathy Johnson, and we have a young lady today, Kathy, Brandy Johnson, who might be ready to run the table, win everything.
On her way to qualifying for every event final, Brandy dominated the all-around competition, winning by almost 2 full points. It is conceivable that she could win every event, and that's never been done before in this competition. However, with the new rules, none of the scores carry over from the all-around competition. All the gymnasts start at 0, so it's wide open for all the gymnasts trying to vie for that national championship on an individual event.
The spectaculars become commonplace in gymnastics. You have to be spectacular to compete with the world's best. Bart Connor certainly did. He won a gold medal for the United States back in 1984. Bart, the danger factor is unbelievable. I guess the only people that aren't afraid are the performers.
And especially the young ones, and I think that's the most exciting aspect of what's happening with the U.S. men's team. There's so much new young talent, and the U.S. coaching staff is very pleased with that. Today's competition will be especially exciting for a couple of reasons. As Kathy mentioned, the no scores carry over from the preliminary rounds, and the athletes will be featured in their favorite and certainly their best events, so we're going to see some outrageous difficulty today.
There are 4 apparatus for the women: the vault, the uneven bars, the balance beam, and the floor exercise. The men have 6 to compete in. They begin with a floor exercise, then hand ride the pommel horse, and conclude with the very exciting horizontal bar.
As we mentioned earlier, Brandy Johnson won the all-around competition, with Christy Henrich and Sandy Woolsey taking 2nd and 3rd. But keep in mind as we enter today's event finals that none of these scores carry over. All the gymnasts begin at 0.
Each of the ladies gets 2 chances at the vault. Right now we're going to watch young Kim Kelly with her 2nd vault.
Now, Kim scored a 9.487 on her first vault. She's actually performing a weaker vault for her 2nd, a piked Tsukahara. Now, keep in mind, this vault is only valued at a 9.5. Each of the vaults that the gymnasts perform are rated according to the code of points. She does a piked Tsukahara, which is a very weak vault, but she does it well.
Kim Kelly got 9.15, an average score of 9.318. Here's a 16-year-old on the rise, Sandy Woolsey.
Now, Sandy's opening with a pretty strong vault, a Yurchenko full twist, round off onto the board, and a layout full twist off. She gets decent height, but as you can see, she really has some form errors within the vault. Also, she had to pike down the landing, landed low, and took that step backwards. Now we'll take a look where the major form deductions were. Right here, she goes onto the horse, her legs are bent and slightly apart. And then, of course, she lands a little low and has to take that step backwards. Now, from this overhead angle, you can see she has ample distance from the horse, but you can see where her legs are bent and apart.
And the score for the first vault, 9.387.
Now, the new rules state that a gymnast must perform vaults for 2 different categories. There's a definite weakness in 2nd vaults in this competition. I think the leaders will be determined on the relative strength of their 2nd vault. She does a Tsukahara with a full twist, and you can see again a low landing. She had to pike down. That will be a deduction.
That's John Aitken, one of her coaches down there at the Desert Devils Gymnastics Academy in Arizona.
I can see relief on her face making that 2nd vault. Again, her legs are apart on the pre-flight, low landing, and a little bit off center. Those will be the deductions. You can check out her distance here from the horse. It's a little bit shorter than her first vault.
The judges felt that way too, Kathy. Her 2nd vault scored 9.2, an average of 9.293. Now the favorite, Brandy Johnson, perhaps the most explosive gymnast to come on the scene since Mary Lou Retton. She must beat the 9.318 put on the board by Kim Kelly a bit earlier.
Brandy is far superior in this event because she has 2 very strong vaults, both valued at a 10.0. In fact, the new rules